Sweet. Let's get into this. So day 5, final day of the first week. This is awesome. If you had fun, if you have had fun, there's a reactions button. Either give a thumbs up, a high five, or click the reactions button, go hand clap, thumbs up, legendary. This is so cool to scroll through and see all these different jerseys in all of our hometown teams. A lot of them are our travel teams or our Little League teams or old school D-backs unis. I know Johnny, you got the D-backs going on, representing. Let's go, full uni on. 2 gloves. Some people got bats. The eye black is the greatest. Does anybody have stirrups on? If you have stirrups, you win. Automatic win with the stirrups. That's taking it full plan.
I have some stirrups.
I love it. Let's go. Stirrups.
High socks.
And the gold chain by Mason. Mason's chain.
I got high socks.
I love it. Hey, high socks work too, as long as you're wearing them up. I like it. But this is cool. This is really fun to have a little fun with it, right? And just feel like we're at the ballpark, because obviously we can't be there, but hopefully soon we can get out there on the field again and get going and do what we do. But this is really cool that we're able to make the most out of the situation and still be able to represent our teams, represent our jerseys. And you got to see people from all over, Texas, Arizona, California, New York, Connecticut, New Zealand even. Like, that's just crazy to me. So let's keep this going, guys. Let's keep it going. Thank you for continuing to show up every day. I'm being attentive, paying attention, and learning. That's the biggest part. We're all learning here. We're learning from you. Hopefully you guys can learn some things from us as well. So today we're going to get into the importance of committing to ourselves and like valuing today. Like, what's the importance of today to help get us to where we want to be tomorrow? I think as athletes, a lot of the time we're constantly thinking about the future at-bats that we have, or the future games that we're going to play, or the future series that we're going to play. But the most important thing is, how do we make the most out of this moment right now, today, right? Every single moment that we have in our day is the most important moment. It's really hard to do. It's really, really, really hard to do, but it's going to change your whole career if you're able to just value that moment that's right in front of you, whether it's your at bat, whether it's going out on a team game where you guys win and you guys do something awesome, or you're having practice and you're playing football instead of baseball. Like, valuing the moment that we have today is going to help you get to where you want to go tomorrow, and continuing to get the most out of each day. Because sometimes we let these days pass, right? Like, if we let a day pass where we go through the motions in practice, or we go through the motions as a team, or we go through the motions at home, or whatever it is, we're not getting better. And somebody else out there is getting better. And it depends on where we live, what the demographic is, but there's so many athletes that are fighting for the same spots that you guys want to fight for. So if we can set ourselves apart every single day and understand the importance of showing up every day with a positive attitude, open mind, so we were there like listening to our coaches and getting something out of it, I think we're going to be a lot better off for the future, and we're going to learn a lot more. And just like this, showing up here and being open-minded and learning something out of this, getting something that's going to help you get a little bit better today to better your tomorrow and your future. So Jake, I'm going to let you kind of kick this off here and share your kind of insight on this aspect. But I'm really excited to get into this today, because it's really easy to look really far in the future and what's going to happen in the summer and what's going to happen next fall, or am I ever going to play Little League again? But guess what? We've got to make the most of each day that we have right now to get us in a better position for when those games do happen. So Jake, I'm going to kick it off to you.
You're on mute.
Oh yeah, you might be on mute. Sorry, I muted everyone.
There we go. This is one of my favorite things to talk about, y'all, because I think it's really easy to have a goal mindset, but it's also very easy to forget that some days and not be successful within that moment of where you're living. So these are going to be some really practical mindset pieces and things that you can take with you to just kind of live out the best possible day that you can. Austin's got some great stuff on that him and I have talked about too, so I'm excited to hear some of that. But I want to start with just a little story and get your guys' minds right to kind of take all of this in. There's this old parable about a chicken and a pig, right? So basically this kid had a project at school, okay? So he took his dad to dinner, out to breakfast, and they were sitting there talking about it, and the kid said, I'm struggling to figure out the difference between commitment and contribution. And it's really hard for me, like they seem like the same thing. And the waitress brought out their food and set it down. And on the kid's plate, he had bacon and he had eggs. And the dad said, look, the answer's on your plate. He was like, what are you talking about? My dad said, look, the chicken contributed to the breakfast, but the pig was committed, right? So when we look at the difference of commitment and contribution, when you contribute, when you're living in that world, a lot of times you do something that helps other people or helps the team, but you don't do it to an extent that you're actually risking anything. And if we want to live our best life and be the best version of ourselves, you have to understand that going all in for something is going to take a risk. And that's what commitment is, right? A pig died so that you could eat the bacon. It died for that breakfast, but the chicken just laid an egg. There's no risk there. He's still living free and clear, right? So when you start to understand the difference of just kind of dipping your toe in the water and helping the team a little bit or helping your friends or your family a little bit versus being all in for that and living in a way that you're actually risking something, you start to figure out how to truly live. So I'll start with that idea of just don't be afraid to commit to something, right? And I know that there's fear in that because you do have that opportunity to fail, but you also have the opportunity to succeed. And if you're not going to risk it, then there's really no big growth or success that you're going to find in your life. So I think that's the big thing to get going on my end. But I'm excited to really get into this and outline some daily steps you guys can take.
Absolutely, Jake. I love that idea of the commitment of the pig versus the chicken. That's so cool.
Great.
Like we can all relate to those stories, right? There's like I love telling a story, and I'll tell it here in a little bit about foundation, but with the three little pigs, I mean, you can get so much out of just a simple childhood story that can just totally rock your world and make so much sense to you. Maybe it connects with you. Maybe a different story does. Ronnie, what do you got for this? Just as far as committing to yourself daily, committing to the team and something bigger than just contributing.
Yeah, I want to go back to a couple of days ago when we talked about we have to work backwards in our life, and we got to work and find what our end goal is and work backwards from that. But understand that when we do work backwards, it is a today plus today plus today plus today mentality. Yep. And so we are going to have that end goal in mind, and that has to be in our subconscious, in the back of our head, to understand that that's where we're shooting towards. But the decisions that you make today are going to impact that decision later down the road. The decisions that you make tomorrow, which will be today, tomorrow, then those are the decisions that are going to help impact that too. So I think for you guys, you have to really understand that. Have your end goal in mind, but it's today plus today plus today plus today. And that's what's going to get you to where you need to go. And the coolest thing in the world is once tomorrow happens, today's over. Yep. And so if today happened to be a day where you didn't really like and you didn't get as much done as you wanted to, it's fine, because tomorrow it's over with. And that's a new day to start reaching and going towards your goals. So I love the today plus today mentality, because then it eliminates the past. It takes away the positives and the negatives that happened in the past, right? And I think that's a big takeaway is use today as a platform, use tomorrow as your platform to reach your goals that you have for your future.
Yeah, I really like the today versus today, or plus today mentality. Just stacking the positive. I mean, we talk a lot about like 1% better, and a lot of us, excuse me, I'm eating nuts over here, so I'm choking on them. But just like that today versus today, like how can I get myself better today? How can I make my team better today? How can I commit to something bigger than myself? Maybe the team mission. We want to win a championship. Well, what does that look like for me? Maybe for me, it means laying down a bunt with a runner on first and second base and nobody out that gets the runners over for my teammate to drive them in with the base hit. Or maybe that means going in practice, competing against the other shortstop and making him better. If I'm an older senior or junior in here in high school and there's a freshman or a sophomore on the team that's going to be up and coming, and maybe they don't have your spot yet, but in a couple of years when you leave, they're going to take your spot. Like, how can I mentor them to help them become better as well? I love this commitment aspect, because at the end of the day, if you don't commit to yourself, you're never going to go anywhere. You're never going to trust yourself. You're not going to build self-confidence, and you're going to just feel like you're wandering around the ocean. But there's that story of the three little pigs about building a foundation. And it's very simple. It's very easy to talk about. But you got three pigs, right? The first little pig builds his house out of straw. So he's got a straw hut. He's kicking it outside. He's got a Slurpee. He's in his little lawn chair out there. He's hanging out, like no cares, no commitments at all. Didn't commit to his team. Didn't contribute even to his team. Just kind of all about himself, right? All about him or herself, hanging out outside the house. And when the big bad wolf, which is adversity, which is fear, which is anxiety, which is worry, which is shame, which is guilt, which is sadness, which is anger, comes creeping around the corner, right? This big old bad wolf and blows it all to smithereens, crushes the house, no foundation, right? The the straw hut had no foundation. There was no brick layer. There was nothing that they've committed to. So when adversity hit, it knocked them and blew them away to the ocean. The second little piggy, a little more successful, maybe had a couple good games, maybe had a good tournament or two, maybe throws 91, 92 from the bump, maybe has the chance to go play college baseball or college softball or college football even. It has an opportunity to go do something bigger and better, but they forgot to build their house on brick and on land. They built their house on sand. And so they've got this house built out of wood, and it's a little stronger, right? They've had some success, but once they go through that slump, once there's a little adversity that hits, once there's some trials that they have to go through, once there's some failure that is experienced by this athlete, the big bad wolf comes creeping around the corner, smithereens, crushes the house, dunzo, goes into a big slump, washes away. But then there's the third little piggy, which is each one of you. And the third little pig is the brick house. I like to say the brick house because it just hits home with me, but you're laying the foundations of the brick, like brick by brick by brick. And this pig built their house on a firm foundation. And what their firm foundation was a daily commitment to themselves every single day to get better at something. It doesn't matter if it's, I'm going to be better at pouring up another water cup for my teammate. I'm going to be better at encouraging someone. I'm going to be better at showing up on time. I'm going to be better at going full 100% in every single drill that we compete in, right? This third pig committed to something bigger than themselves, and they had a firm foundation. It was made out of bricks. And when your house is made out of bricks, nothing's going to move. The adversity comes around the corner. The big bad wolf comes creeping around, tries to blow your house over, but you don't get rocked. It might shake the boat a little bit, but you don't get blown to smithereens like pig 1 and pig 2, because you've committed to something for your future. And this is what it's all about, is committing to ourselves. You can commit to other people. We can commit to other dreams, but if we don't commit to ourselves, we're never going to get better and take the steps that we need to get a little bit better every single day and to make progress. In progress, there's success. Like in progress, there's happiness. Every time that you progress and get a little bit better, no matter what that looks like, maybe that's handling an 0 for 3, or maybe it's, I gave up a home run, but I got right back on the mound and I chucked a first pitch strike. Maybe that's what your progress looks like today. It doesn't have to be 4 for 4 with 3 home runs and a double and 18 RBIs. And I'm the Little League All-Star, the high school All-American. It can be little things such as just picking up a teammate or sliding hard into second base or running the bases hard. So finding something that we can commit to every single day is going to build self-confidence. So if you're writing notes, put down, when I commit to myself on a daily basis, I will build self-confidence. When I commit to myself on a daily basis, I will build self-confidence. The number one thing working with athletes from 9, 10, 11, 12 to 25, 28 in the big leagues to coaches that are 45, 50 years old, what do you think it is? It's confidence. Confidence. Like a 25-year-old in the big leagues is not confident with their ability, so they don't throw as many strikes. A 25-year-old is not as confident at the plate in the big leagues, so they don't swing the bat like they used to or like they can. Right? Even a 12-year-old isn't as confident as they wish they were. So what happens? We don't have the same success that we could be experiencing. If you have confidence and you trust your ability, you're going to be successful in some way or some form. Maybe you don't get it right away, but over time, you're not going to get washed away when the big bad wolf comes creeping around the corner and tries to blow your house over. The adversity is not going to knock you down. The failure is not going to knock you down. You're going to be a brick house like the third little pig, and you're going to be able to push through all of these slumps, all of these struggles, some of the failures that we have that end up happening. And last thing, please don't share your screens or anything, guys, just because we don't want to do that anymore. And I don't even know how that works. I got to figure out the setting for that. But just really finding a way to commit to yourself every single day to build that self-confidence, to build that grit and determination to help get you to where you want to be. And that's what it's all about. I mean, whether you're working one-on-one with Ronnie to working on a team with Jake to in our mental game mentorship program with me, like it's finding something that is going to help you get a little bit better. This is going to help you get a little bit better. You've committed to it. Those of you who are in here, there's 153 of you that have showed up every single day. That's pretty cool. It's gone from 153 to 205 and it's bounced back and forth in between there. But you have committed to this for 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, 5 hours this week to get better in some way, some shape, some form. That should build self-confidence. Trust that. trust your preparation. Every time you prepare, make sure, one, the only way we trust our preparation is if we're actually preparing like a champion. Like we mentioned a couple of days ago, if we prepare like a champion, we actually are doing the things that we're supposed to be doing to be successful. But two, we're continually doing it on a daily basis. And this is one way for you to build self-confidence, to go out there this summer and to be the best version of you, not anyone else, of you. Jake, I don't know if you want to add on to that piece, but that's just kind of where I wanted to kick it off to.
Yeah, no, I think there's so many good takeaways from that. And one of them, I love the wolf analogy. And one of the statements that we try to remind our guys is you got to feed the good wolf. Okay. So you have this big bad wolf, which is adversity, all the bad things that happen to you, all the negatives that it's really easy to focus on. So what feeding the good wolf is telling yourself the positives. Reinforce the things that you're doing well. Allow yourself to be in that mindset where you're telling yourself and constantly looking at those things rather than looking solely at the negatives that are in your life. Because the reality is we all have negatives, right? You can't live your life without anything going wrong. So we need to continuously feed that good wolf. Okay, one way to do that I really want to talk to you guys about is sometimes we don't understand our source of energy. And when we're lacking positive energy in our life, it's really easy to not get anything productive done. Okay, so there's this story about a love jug, okay? And people actually do this. I've seen it in a couple of houses, and I think it's a great idea. But basically what it is, your family would have a love jug. So I have two kids and a wife, and we would each have a cup. And every morning when we wake up, we'd take water and we'd fill our cup however full we felt that day, however fulfilled we were. Okay. But you know how a day goes. Sometimes things happen and that empties your cup. You're not in a positive mood anymore. You have things that go wrong. Your goal every day should be to surround yourself with people and find people that will invest in you and fill your cup and your energy level and your positivity. But the second part of that goal is not just to fill your own. It's your goal every day should be to empty yours out completely into other people, right? So as people, we're made to be interdependent, meaning we need to survive by working with other people and doing things with others. We're not made to be independent and alone. So you need to find people that will fill your energy and do that. But your job, your responsibility, your commitment is that as a good teammate and a good leader, you're going to then take that cup that's full. This fills my cup. Right? Hopefully it fills yours. You're going to take what you learn here and you're going to reinvest that into other people that need it as well. So that's a huge piece, is just the energy side. And I think one thing that helps with that, one of the terms that I hear a lot that I cannot stand, I get it, but I can't stand it, is the term under construction. Because so many people say like, yeah, I'm good now, but I'm under construction. I'm working towards a better version. That's great. But if you've ever driven through construction, nobody likes to live being under construction. You don't drive through construction and think, man, this is beautiful. Like, it'll be cool when it's done, but it looks pretty good now. Like, nobody says that. All right. So here's the reality. You were created with a purpose, uniquely made, to go out and do something special in your life. We all have that in us. And when you were born, when you were made, all of that was already there, right? There's amazing plans for your life. So you're not under construction. But what you're doing is you're taking the version that people see of you and you're chiseling away the negative things that you see so that people can see and visually recognize the best version of yourself. It's already there. You have a vision. You might see it right now. And just because other people can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Your job is to just whittle away all the negative stuff, take all of that out so that people can see the beautiful, perfect version of yourself that you're trying to create. All right. So that's what it means to be committed. It's knowing and seeing who you can be and allowing yourself to take action towards those things. Okay. Because here's the reality. Everybody hates this saying. You ready? I am not responsible for your feelings. Your feelings don't matter. They don't matter. Feelings matter, right? They're valid, but feelings don't change your circumstance, right? Your circumstance is already there. So responsibilities are there no matter the circumstance that you're in, because you don't get to choose your starting point. Okay, some of you come from rough families. You only have one parent that you live with. You've had some things go on in your life that you don't like to talk about. That's all of us, right? So that's the circumstance. You didn't choose that. At your age, a lot of the things that you face are not your choice. But the choice you get to make now is, how do you move forward from there? How do you take those steps forward and become the best version of yourself that you're trying to be? So although I'm not responsible for your feelings, okay, you are, and you need to value those, but you need to value your actions more than your feelings. Because if we went and we lived solely by how we felt, there's a lot of days that nothing would get done, right? There's a lot of days that you won't want to do something. So feelings fade, right? They ebb and flow. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad. But nobody is remembered for their feelings. You're remembered for your action, for the things that you actually do, that you go out and you complete. So you got to get to a point that one of the sayings is super easy that you have to decide that you're going to do is just the simple saying of do it anyway. Man, I don't feel like doing that. Okay, do it anyway. Good. It stinks. You got to embrace the suck, right? We use that in the coaches one. Embrace the suck. Do it anyway. Find a way to get it done. All right. And I think that's a huge step in commitment and an everyday mindset is wake up. We'll get into routine stuff in a couple minutes here. Have a good routine. And when you don't feel like it, understand that other people aren't responsible for those feelings and just do it anyway. That's a huge thing. Absolutely huge.
Love it. We're going to get into the embrace the suck here in a minute. Ronnie, take it away, my man.
Yeah, so I was going to go into, and that's where motivation and discipline kind of they start to separate. And I don't know if we're going to get into this a little bit later, if Jake or anybody's going to talk about that or elaborate on it, but I'll get into it a little bit. You know, motivation is feelings, right? And your motivation is going to fade. I guarantee it. I love baseball more than anything in the world, but there are some days when I wake up in the morning and I got to lift at 6 o'clock and I don't want to go, right? But that's where discipline comes in. No one cares that you don't want to go because somebody else in the world is going to go to that 6 o'clock lift and they're going to crush it. And you have two choices. You either go to that same lift and you crush it and you stay on top, or you let somebody else take control and take over. And that's ultimately a decision that you have. So I think going off of what Jake said, like discipline is where the today plus today plus today happens.
Yep.
Right? Because if you just go up the ebbs and flows of the way that you feel, there's going to be some days where you're going to wake up. And if you just do what you feel, you're not going to get better that day. Some of the best days I've ever had in my life as an athlete were the days that I didn't want to do it. Were the days that I was struggling the most or I was the most sore. I used to take hundreds of ground balls and take hundreds of swings when I couldn't even feel my legs. But those were the days that I felt like I got better because the days that you feel really good are easy, right? So we have to really kind of grind through those tough times and really stay disciplined in what our goals are so that every day, and that's why I love vision boards, because every single day when you wake up in the morning, if you're not motivated, look right at your vision board. And that should be enough for you to either decide whether you're going to continue to go about your day on your motivation, how you feel, or if you're going to stay disciplined on your goals. And I think that's like, for me, I'm a visual person. I love that. So if I look at my vision board and I see what my goals are and I don't want to do what I'm supposed to do for that day, the only person that's going to take the heat for that is me. The only person who's going to fail in that is me because I'm looking at my goals and I'm basically saying no. Right. So I think discipline, this is where discipline comes in the most is what I take away from that.
Discipline's huge. How do you hold yourself accountable? It's easy to be held accountable when you're at practice and your coach says, Ronnie, you need to go run some sprints on the line, or you need to go do infield practice, or you need to go do a catching drill. It's really hard to stay disciplined when we don't have a coach or a parent telling us what we need to do and reinforcing what we need to do. That's where your dream and your vision, like Jake was talking about, and like Ronnie said with the vision board, Cannon or Kanan, I think Cannon, if I said your name wrong, please let me know, but he sent a picture of his vision board, and he's a younger athlete. I think he's 11, and I hope I'm not botching that too, but I think he's 11 in here, and he sent me a picture of his vision board, like an 11-year-old with a vision board. That's cool. That fired me up. But every day, if he goes to practice, before he goes to practice, maybe there's a day where he doesn't want to go to practice. He's like, I love baseball, but today I'm just not feeling it. I just don't want to be there. He looks at his vision board, realizes, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why do I continue to work hard every day? What is this for? Like, what's the purpose behind this? So understanding, like, with your vision, there's got to be a purpose behind it. There's got to be some sort of purpose that's fueling your vision and fueling your career and fueling where you want to go. Because to be quite frank, like, some days are going to suck. Some days are going to suck. We talk a lot about embracing the suck, and it's the greatest line ever, because if you can embrace the suck, embrace the tough challenges that come your way, you're going to build discipline. You're going to build grit. You're going to build determination to get one step closer to where you want to be and continue to push forward to where you want to be. So even if it gets a little hard, or it might be a little cold, or there might be a little windy outside, or maybe coach is being a little hard on me. Finding a way to commit to yourself every single day is going to build that resiliency, that confidence, that love, and that self-satisfaction to help get you to where you want to go. Now, it's not easy to do. It's not the easiest thing in the world, because when it happens, that's why we talk about building habits. And we can get into that today, but I want to get into the routines and habits and stuff like that here in a minute, because I think it's big. And for us, we did a 30-day challenge to help athletes build better habits. And Luke in here has been crushing it. Dude's got a new picture of him lifting or hitting or something good. What he's doing right now is probably more than he even thinks he's doing. It's building a really good habit for him for when he gets out of this to continue that. It takes a while to build habits. It takes a while. I've heard 21 days. I've heard 38. I've heard 62. I don't care how many days. It takes commitment and discipline, like Ronnie said, discipline to build a good habit. Because the first 3 or 4 days, it might be easy. But day 5 and day 6, when it's a little colder and you don't want to get out of bed and it's harder to do, what are you going to do? What kind of action are you going to do? How disciplined are you to hold yourself accountable to get to where you want to go? And that's where it gets back to what's my vision and where do I want to go? And how do I want to get there? So let's talk about building those routines. This could be a pre-pitch routine if I'm a pitcher, and what do I do on the mound before I get on the mound. It could be a pre-at-bat routine if I'm a hitter, and how I step into the box the same way every single time and repeat that, whether I look at a focal point, which is just like the D. Marini sign or the Louisville sign on my bat, and I look at that, I take a deep breath, I step into the box, touch the plate a certain way, do a little wiggle, shimmy, and look at the pitcher. Like, what are my routines? What do I do at practice that's going to set me up? What's my pre-practice? So I get there at, say practice starts at 6 o'clock, and I get there at 5:45 because my mom and dad dropped me off early. I've got 10 to 15 minutes to get better and to work on something that's going to help me get one step closer to my goal, because I'm there early. So if I can think about, hey, what can I do today to get me better? What's my routine? Am I going to do glove work on the ground? Am I going to do some catching drills, some pop-ups, some dry swings? Like, what are the little routines that I can do on a daily basis to set me up for success? And what you're going to find is you can find progress and you can find passion in your routine. You can find progress and passion in your routine. But sometimes our routine might get boring and you might be overdoing it all the time because you've done it for so long. But my biggest piece of advice to you when it comes to building a routine that's going to serve you and give you the best chance to succeed is do something that, one, is attainable. So it's accomplishable for you. Like, it's something you can actually do every single day. It's not crazy. It's not take 1,000 swings before you go hit or throw long toss like Trevor Bauer on the mound, like every single day before you throw. Like, find something that you can repeat every day, that you can do the same thing every day. It's going to set you up for success. And it's something that's specific to you. Your routine should be more based on you, not everybody else. So maybe I'm Colin in here. Maybe he loves doing a step back drill to get into his legs. But maybe Luke really likes to use his hands and do some high tee and really focus on getting his hands behind the baseball. Maybe that's a routine that sets him up for success. And the other one's a routine that sets Colin up for success. They're two different drills, but each one is specifically set up and designed to help you specifically get ready for the game and get ready for practice, to give you the best chance to improve and to get better. So, Jake, if you want to take it off into the routines, I really like routines, and I think it even starts with the morning routine, doing one thing that you can commit to every single day. And this is off the field, but I'm a huge proponent on this, is do something that challenges you off the field. So for me, it's a cold shower, hopping in the cold shower or jumping in the pool in the morning and just sparking the system. And then meditation and visualization, that like clears the mind right away. So no matter if I wake up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m., 10 p.m., it doesn't matter. I'm going to do the exact same routine because I know that's the system for me to get me in the best headspace, right? Get my mind right to go out on the field and accomplish those goals and those dreams that I have for myself. So, Jake, I'll let you take it away.
I love it. And the cold shower is great. Austin got me on the cold showers too, and I hate them. I'm never going to like them, but I enjoy what comes from them. I enjoy the result of it, so it's absolutely worth doing it. One big thing when we talk about routine, guys, is understanding that great players are made in the outside 22, right? So if you have a 24-hour day, call it most of the time you have a 2-hour practice in that day, you have 22 hours that are unaccounted for that you get to choose what you do, right? You're going to sleep for some of those, and you have dinner, and you have some things that you're going to do with your family and all that, but that outside 22 makes a big difference. because everybody's practicing those 2 hours. So what are you doing in those 22 that's going to separate you? All right. So that's where the routine really comes into play, and where your development can surpass somebody else, right? If you think that you're just going to practice really hard for those 2 hours and you're going to get better than somebody, you're crazy, right? Because those 2 hours are the same for everybody. But then when you look at it like this, let's say you do 10 minutes a day of visualization, right? So that's 70 minutes a week. Okay, so call it an hour a week. That's great. There's how many weeks in a year? 52. So now you got 52 hours of visualization that other people haven't done. That's a lot of time, a lot of minutes that you're spending in your training, that you're having an advantage over the other people that you might be competing against at school or for a position or on a team or anything like that. All right, so that's where it comes in. Austin mentioned morning routine, and it's important to understand that you have to figure out what works for you. Okay, my routine is different than Nick's routine, which is different than Ronnie's routine, which is different than Austin's routine. We all have the same goal in mind, but we've played with it and figured out what works for us individually. So just because we as speakers tell you, hey, this is what we do, try it, but figure out what works for you personally. It does not have to be exactly the same by any means. All right, so a couple big things. I'm a huge advocate of starting your day with gratitude, right? I know we're probably all very similar in that as speakers, but figure out what that is. And I think there's power in actually writing things down versus just like saying them in your mind. So one of the things I do when I get up, I have this sheet that I go through, and mine has 3 huge goals that I have for myself. And my big key there is I always write them as if they've already been accomplished. So I did win a state championship again, right? Whatever that is, write it as if it's accomplished, because when you read it that way, you start to believe that it can actually happen. All right, so that's the first thing. Second thing is 3 positive affirmations about myself, right? We all have negative things that hold us back about ourselves. And most of the time, they're not even true, but they're things that we've heard enough or told ourselves enough that we allow ourselves to believe that. And remember what Austin said yesterday, you don't have to believe your own thoughts. You have the choice not to believe those. So what writing down positive affirmations does is it gives you a reset button in your mind that allows yourself to recognize when you're going down that negative thought pattern and quickly fix it and get back to a positive. So it just gives you those words right away to say, no, that's not true, because I am fearless, right? I am enough. Whatever that word is for you, you can work through that. So I think those are 2 big things. And right now with this quarantine, I know it personally, it's super easy to just sleep in and not get up and like wake up when you wake up. But my challenge to you guys would be set an alarm, set a time to get up. If that's 8 a.m., if that's 9 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever that is for you, but set an alarm, get up, and knock something productive out right away, just right away. All right. Typically the best thing to do, this is a great way to start your day. A lot of you guys have chores and stuff now that you're sitting at home. One great thing to do is figure out the one thing that you absolutely do not want to do that day and do it first thing in the morning. That's the first thing you should do, right? Like if I told you at the end of these, or at some point in these 4 weeks of baseball school, we're going to make you kiss a frog, right? Most of you would put it off, but for all 4 weeks, you'd be thinking about the fact that you're going to have to kiss a frog, right? So the best option is just do it now, knock it out. And that way it's done, and you don't have to have stress or fear or anxiety about what's coming, right? So whatever that one thing is you don't want to do it first, and your brain will be so much more clear throughout the day to actually get things accomplished. The other thing I'll tell you is perception is key, right? So events plus perception equals outcome. All right, E plus P equals O. Events, perception equals outcome. So you don't control the events a lot of times that happen, but you 100% control your perception, and that's going to change the outcome of the way you look at something. Kellen's in here somewhere, one of my players, and we had we're stuck inside, right? We're in Indiana. So getting ready for our season, Kellen's battling for a starting outfield spot for us. He's a sophomore, hits tanks, really working hard, and was right in the mix for a starting spot. But he just couldn't see the ball well inside. So we were doing live at-bats, and he just was struggling to hit. And he texted me. He was like, Coach, I'm not using this as an excuse, but, like, how can I do better inside? Like, I struggle. It doesn't feel real. Like, what's the deal? And we figured out with him it was just a perception thing. He was going up already saying, man, it's inside. I'm not going to be successful. Rather than saying, hey, if I get really good inside, think about how great I'll be outside. I see the ball so much better outside. Let's use this time now to get myself in a great place, right? Same events, but different perception. Okay. So big thing is manage your perception. Do something in the morning that you don't want to do. Knock that first thing out and set an alarm so that you're up and you don't waste time throughout the day, or you don't waste the day. Because I've had a few days over break, I'll admit it, that I've woke up at like 11 a.m. and I'm just like, man, the day is half gone and I've done nothing. This has not been great. So you don't want that to become the habit that you fall into.
Yeah. And if we're being honest, today was one of those days for me. I got up, I was pumped. Life was good, went and worked out at a buddy's facility. Like, they're kind of low key open during this time, but like one-on-one stuff. Did a good workout. Everything's good. Crushed it till about 10:30. And then I'm like, I'm a little tired. I've got 2.5 hours to really do anything. I'm going to take a 30-minute nap. I'm just going to take a nap. I got a long day after this. Let's crush it. Well, I lay down. I set my alarm for 11:30 p.m., not a.m. So I wake up at 12:40 and I'm in a panic because I got to find a jersey. I got to get ready and prepared for this. And I'm freaking out. And literally the first like 20 minutes after that, I'm just rattleboxed. I'm going through my mind like, oh my gosh, I just wasted 2 hours. I fell asleep for 2 hours. I didn't even realize it. And that's 2 hours I can't get back. I could have gone on a walk. I could have listened to a podcast. I could have read a book. I could have called one of these guys and brainstormed some ideas. I could have reached out to a player, another coach. There was so much more that I could have done with that. So I'm kicking myself initially. But here's another thing. If you do mess up, and this is really hard to do because you're going to feel a little guilt and shame when you don't do something that you say you're going to do or commit to. If you do mess up, don't allow it to bring down your whole day. Like, understand that these things happen. We're all human. We're all going to fall short. We're all going to mess up some days. It's going to happen. But how do we bounce back? Like Jake said, how do I bounce back after that 11 a.m. wake up and get back, like Tyler said in here to me on here? Like, I got an alarm clock for 9:30 every day. First thing I do is check to see if I have homework. Make sure I get my studies out of the way. I hate doing it, but I get my studies out of the way first. Boom, I'm good to go. Like, how do I bounce back? And that bounce back is a very key thing to think about during this time is, okay, I may not mess up, or I may mess up sometimes. I may make an error. I may swing and miss a few times. I may forget my morning routine, forget to do some gratitude. And I'll read through those in a minute, but guess what? How do we bounce back from that? Like, how do we get back into our routine, and how do we like instantly get back into our flow state of mind, which is just our best version of ourselves? Go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah, so I was just going to say that we also have to understand that when we do have routines, we also have to be able to adapt within them, because sometimes they're going to break down. It's going to break down, and we can't allow that to affect us either. So for instance, like for me this morning, this is actually a really good example, is I plan to get up at 8:30 and then come to the facility to do some work. But I happen to end up getting up earlier, and my son actually woke up earlier than he normally does. So to spend a little bit more time with him, I actually got a late start on getting to work today. So I felt a little bit rushed when I actually got here, to get some stuff done. But I can either not get anything done because it broke my routine, or I can adapt and adjust and figure out how to be productive, even though it's not going exactly the way I want. You guys need to understand that too. So for instance, you set your alarm like Austin sets his alarm for a half an hour after he wants to take a nap, but wakes up an hour and a half later. We can understand that we're going to be rushed a little bit, but we have to adapt to that and still find some productivity in our day, even though it's not going the way that we want. I think that's huge. Because if we cookie cut our routine, which is, we should have a plan in place, but also understand it's never going to go exactly the way that we want. We have to learn how to work through that, right? I think that's probably the biggest key that I've taken from both of you guys is we want a routine. I learned this from a guy named Brian Kane, who's a peak performance guy too, just like Austin. He does 168 plans. So basically you map out your whole week and what happens whenever that breaks down. And so for you guys, when you map out your week and your days and you try to put a routine together, what happens when that breaks down? We got to find a way to work through that. You know what I'm saying? So take that away. Make sure you guys write that in your notes, as we can't let that affect the rest of our day.
That's really good, Ron. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm just writing it down. When something breaks down, this could be a practice gets canceled. It could be my whole month gets canceled. It could be my season gets canceled. It could be I rolled my ankle running through first base. Like, how do I bounce back to get back to where I need to be successful? Like, End of the day, commitment is the biggest thing. That's why I'm pumped that it was on Friday to get into the weekend so we can think about this commitment. Like, what am I going to do this weekend to still continue to see success in my game? And I'm not saying you got to spend 20 hours a day doing what you need to do, baseball wise or life wise. Like, do what you need to do. Go on a hike, go do something outside, like enjoy time with your friends. But when you do have those moments where you're in baseball mode or you're in workout mode and all that good stuff, like really commit to that moment. Like really commit to what you're doing in that very single moment to set you up for success. And I put down some things just in case that you guys need some ideas of what to commit to on a daily basis. And it could be anything. Like Jake said, hey, something that works for Ronnie might work differently for iPhone over there, or Aiden or Lucas or Luca, like, or Jake in here. Like something might work different for you than it does for me. And some of us might have a longer routine than others. I know the guy I worked out with today, he gets up at 3:30 every morning and runs 3:30 a.m. I'm like, are you kidding me? 3:30 is like, nobody's on the road at 3:30. It's the best time to run. I'm like, hey, it works for you, right? That doesn't work for me. I got to get in a little more sleep. But gratitude journal, just action steps. You can put on your notes, like some action steps, and try one of these out. Don't do all of them at once. Don't do all 9 or 10 of these at once. You're going to drive yourself insane. Pick 1 or 2 to like focus on and then build. For me, when I started my commitment to myself and I changed my life 2.5 years ago, it was gratitude journal first. What are 3 to 5 things that I'm grateful for? My mom made me pudding. I have the best grandma in the world. My dog is beautiful. My coaches are awesome. I feel good. I'm healthy, right? I'm healthy during this time. Nobody in my family's sick. Maybe I'm grateful for that. Something like that. What am I grateful for? Number 2, a cold shower. Spark the system, baby. Internal temperature is our identity. What is our internal temperature set at? Like, am I on fire or am I ice cold? Like a cold shower is going to it's going to turn your gears on. It's going to get you spinning first thing in the morning. You want to upgrade. You want to be awake in first period for your school. You're ready to go. You're going to be getting A's in that first class at least because you are sparked up, ready to go. And that's going to help you in everything. The better grades you get, the better opportunities you have to play at the next level. So cold shower, that's another option. Number 3, positive affirmations. Jake was mentioning, like, who do I say I am? I am fearless. I am powerful. I'm a beast. I am healthy. I am beautiful. I'm strong. I am athletic. I am cool. I am loving. I am compassionate. Like, what am I? Who do I say I am? Number 4, listen to a positive podcast or read a positive book. There's a lot of books out there that you guys could be reading. I know some of us hate reading, so you can download Audible, which is listening to a book, way easier. I can play my video games and listen, or I can go to YouTube and look up a motivational video of Les Brown or Tony Robbins or Eric Thomas or anybody, right? You just look at a motivational video, you'll find something up there that's going to fire you up. Listen to a motivational video. Maybe that's what you need today. Like Ronnie said, motivation is temporary. It's not going to fuel you forever, but guess what? Maybe you just need that little boost on a certain day that's going to pump you up. Maybe something said in that video is going to help you. So do something that serves you. Number 5, meditate or visualization. You can look at our YouTube channel at Major League University for a visualization exercise. It's right there. It's simple. Boom. We walk you through it. I'm going to put more together. We'll have an actual audio for you guys to have eventually, hopefully by the end of this 4 weeks, that you can listen to, and you can just go through it. A short one, a longer one, different versions that are going to help you, because this is key. Like Jake said, if you visualize 10 minutes a day, you've now seen yourself succeed 10 times more than anybody else has every single week, or whatever the number may be. Like, you are way ahead of the competition. You're building success. You're not only seeing it, but you're believing it. Boom. Visualization, meditation, clear that mind. This thing is powerful. Number 6, make your bed. Simple action every single day. I see the make your bed challenge going around. It's awesome. Make your bed. Like, that's simple. It's really hard to do. I don't do it. I should probably do it. But for you, it takes 10 minutes or 10 seconds. I mean, boom, make your bed. Maybe that's your commitment to yourself. Exercise, get outside, go on a walk, take the dogs on a walk, go on a run, do some push-ups, do some sort of exercise. Number 8, I put in caps. I need to hold myself accountable to this one, but waking up when the alarm clock rings. Like, don't set 2 alarms, set 1 and get up. Like, put your feet on the ground, get moving. Like, whatever the day is, that day has something in store for you. Each day has something new. Let's put our feet on the ground and let's move. And I'm going to hold myself. I'm going to commit to that this whole next week because I need it. Like, I'm glad that this was mentioned, Jake, because sometimes I learn from you guys. And that just taught me again, like, hey, reinforced, you need to get up. Like, get moving. Like, there's no time to sleep in and waste some time, because you're wasting minutes. That's minutes that somebody else is working, getting closer to the dream that you want. They're going to steal your dream. And the last couple, knock out your chores first thing. Dishes. Maybe mom and dad have you take out the trash. Maybe it's the laundry. Maybe you got to clean up the dog poop and you don't want to go outside and clean up the dog poop. Hey, go do it. If it sucks, go do it. Embrace the suck. Do something that you don't like doing that's going to pump you up and help you get one step closer to your goal. So those are just some action steps that we can use. And if anyone has anything else to add, feel free to add them in. But those are a few things that we can do every day, and pick one. Like, just pick one. Write them all down. Write them out so we can see them, but pick one, because this isn't just about baseball and softball and the sport that we play. This is about building life habits. And if we can build a better habit in this 4-week baseball school, we're already through week 1. And you guys have gotten through the thing that is probably the toughest thing for somebody to listen to from the outside. But once you get in and talk about it and meet people and you hear us talk about it, you're like, wow, this is actually important. This is very important. There was a kid, he's 13 years old or 14, and he's going into high school. And he listened to one of our seminars and he's like, yeah, I think that's for high school and college guys. And the guy asked him, his dad's like, okay, well, your 8th grade season's over. Where are you going to be next year? He's like, high school. It's like, no, I think that was for you. He's like, yeah, I think that might be for you, right? Like, you're never too young to learn this stuff. Maybe you're a little young to comprehend it and really get it and make it stick. But if it's planting the seed like a farmer, you plant that seed and continue to reap what you sow, eventually that thing's going to grow and you're going to be a whole different version of yourself. But it all starts with somebody telling you, because maybe this is the only time you ever hear something positive that's going to fuel you up in your life. Jake and Ron, you guys take it home.
Yeah, going off of the seed analogy, I love that. You got to plant those seeds. And I think the big separation between people who are average in life and people who are super successful is you got to water that plant, right? There's a lot of people that plant the seed. They're like, I want to be successful. I'm going to set the goals. But the work or the actions throughout their day don't match the goal in mind. And that's the difference between a dream and a goal, y'all. A dream is a goal without action. You turn that into a goal when you start to act and move towards it and believe that and do those things. So make sure you're not only planting it, but water that seed. Okay. My challenge to you guys for the weekend is this: work while you wait. Okay. Really simple statement, but we're all waiting right now to go and play baseball. That's what we all want to do, and we can't. So you got to find ways that you can work. And I'm talking outside of training. Okay. So here's a couple of things that you can do. Next time you play a board game, I've been playing a lot of board games. My wife and I are super competitive. We're both college athletes. So, like, we put the kids to bed and we bring out, like, Sorry and Trouble, all of them. We're going at it over here. So when you play a board game, try to go a whole board game without making an excuse as to why something happened, right? Change your mindset in that board game. Next time you log in, you play MLB The Show, develop a hitting approach that you're actually utilizing with those hitters. Next time you watch a sport, watch one specific athlete and learn things from it. Right? You watch basketball. I know you can't watch anything live, but James Harden does an incredible job of always keeping his shoulders and his base squared to the basket, right? We can learn a lot about fielding from watching that, right? The new MJ thing is coming out on ESPN this weekend. You can learn a lot about sacrifice and being competitive from watching that, right? And a lot of times we do these things, but we don't do it with a purpose. So when you're working while you wait, develop a purpose behind the actions that could really have nothing to do with baseball at all, and give them a purpose that can help you grow as an athlete, a person, or a player. And once you have that intent, those actions will change. All right. So what I want to see this weekend from you guys, and you can tag us in it, is just everyday monotonous tasks that you've had to do forever. But I want you to tag what it is with that purpose of what you're trying to work on, what your focus is in that's going to make you better. Because right now that's the only choice we have, right? We either wait and do nothing, or we work while we wait. So that's it for you guys. That's your focus for me.
Very nice. What do you got, Ronnie?
Yeah, the last thing I got is we need to find a way to figure it out. And I think that kind of piggybacks off of what you guys are saying. And it's funny because especially for us New York guys, I mean, I'm looking outside right now and it's snowing. And I vividly remember whenever I was younger, my brother and I would go and hit when it was raining and snowing outside, because there was no way that we were going to go a day without getting our work in. And so I understand it's difficult. I understand it's hard for some of you guys, but figure it out and do something to get better. And if I reach out to any of you guys or you reach out to me, we want to know, what are you guys doing to separate yourselves? You know, it's cool because we've got Alaska and California and Arizona, Indiana, New York. Like, just remember, New York guys, there's somebody in Arizona right now that's getting their work in. You know, Arizona guys know that our guys in New York, we're getting our work in. So I want you guys to really take that into your thoughts. When you guys decide that you don't want to do something, think about the person that's your age that's in this chat that's going to get their work in no matter what. I got a cool picture yesterday of an 8-year-old kid that we have at Hot Corner who was outside playing catch in the snow. You know, that shows some grind and some grit right there. I love it. And I think that player right there is learning the right work ethic. And I want you guys to take a lot from that and understand that, you know, it doesn't matter what the weather looks like. It doesn't matter your situation at home. It doesn't matter what you're going through. You need to figure it out because we all love baseball. And so this should be our platform to still go and get our stuff done, especially if we have dreams to play this game for a long time.
Yeah, and we had a question come in on the chat. I just keep putting random stuff in the chat. So if you guys have a chance, pay attention to it. Let's not blow up the chat with random nonsense because sometimes it gets carried away, but let's do it with things that are going to help us and encourage each other. And my favorite thing when I put the chat on private is, whether you know it or not, you're messaging me. And I keep getting all these motivational quotes from you guys. And that's the coolest thing, whether you're a 14-year-old girl in here, whether you're an 8-year-old boy, like a 16-year-old athlete, a sophomore in Indiana, or you're an 18-year-old that's getting ready to go to college next year. Like, everybody can take something from this. We can all learn from this. We don't do much different in the coaches deal. Like, the coaches are all 30, 40, 50 years old, 60, and we're talking the same stuff for the most part. So to say that you're not old enough for some of this or you're not advanced enough is a complete lie. And before we get into the contest winner, I'm going to announce that in a minute, but we challenge you to commit to something. Jake said it the best, like, commit to something that you hate doing. So tag us in it. Put us on social media, like put it on social media or send it to us, like tag us in something that you committed to this weekend that helps you. Number 2, the unis were incredible. Like, we had so much eye black that this is really hard to choose, but I made the decision here and I didn't even consult with Ronnie or Jake. I'm sorry if I overrided your decision.
All good. We'll take the next week's. You're fine.
Sounds good. You got next full Friday uni deal. But I think it's between Caleb and Mason, and I'm going Caleb because you went full catcher's gear inside with shades. I'm going with that. But Mace,
it's a good choice.
Dude, close second with the chain. The chain, the eye black, the shades, legendary. Great job, guys. This was incredible. We'll see you back here next week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Tell your family you love them. Tell somebody else that you love them. And go encourage your buddies to come in here as well next week. And let's pack the house. Let's get over 300. Yeah,
thank you, Coach.
Let's go. Great job. Nice win.
Thank you, Coach. Bye.
Guys. Hey, go Chain. You guys.
Bye. Bye.